Today, we're going to go over assignment types and uses. So we're not necessarily going to talk about how to add an assignment to your course. We're going to talk about more the why you're adding it to a course or why you would choose which ones that would fit best for your assignments. What happens when you click on an assignment, add an assignment? We get options. We get to make a choice. We have 4 assignment types, and we have the option to import an existing assignment. So we're going to talk about that. We have like 5 options here, but 4 assignment types. So we have the online test format, build or import the test, and students take it online. So everything is built online and the students take it online. The file upload format for collecting 1 or more files from students. The forum format is class participation, or it can be private journals or group. I didn't put that on there. The basic format presents the assignment details to your students and let you manually enter grades. So those are the 4 main ones, and they're listed in that order. But when I present things, I like to start with the basic format because then we can build from the basic format. And then we have the import existing assignment. Already created assignments can be imported instead of having to create a new one each time. So let's go ahead and jump in. Basic format layout. So clearly, like I said, we're not going to talk about how we're going to create this. Just going to talk about each of those different things on that step 1, which you're obviously going to give your assignment the name. The units is where it's located on your course page. You may not call them units, you may call them weeks, but the title on My Neosho is unit, and then you can decide where you want to place that assignment. If you click add assignment within a unit on My Neosho, it will automatically put that assignment in that unit, and you don't have to choose it in the dropdown. It will choose it for you. Type, this is more important when it has to do with when you grade with weighted grading. So if you grade by points, this isn't as important. I shouldn't say important, but you don't have to pay attention to it as closely. This is more for what shows up to the students on whether it's an assessment, an exam, just a homework assignment. But if you are weighting grades, this is where you can go in and you can put weights on different types of assignments. So you might weight your exams a little heavier than you weight your homework assignments. Audience, you have your entire class, where you have the option for selecting 1 student or multiple students for the assignment. That assignment will be viewable just to those students or that student, and it won't affect the grades of the other students in the class. Due date, you've got the typical due date, date and time, and then open. I left the drop down open on or listed as based on rules I defined because I really wanted to talk about that piece. We can open immediately. We can open, oops, sorry, got people popping in. Unspecified later, but based on the rules I define, I think is a super tool to use whenever you want to set up your assignments throughout the whole semester. You can set it as a date. So this assignment's not going to open until tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Pretty simple. But you also have the option to have the assignment open after they've completed another assignment. So if you want them to complete the review before they can open the quiz, you can set that up here, and you can have multiple rules too. So not only past this date, but they have to complete this homework. And you can also have it set up for completing multiple pieces of homework or multiple quizzes or multiple assignments. So it's an awesome tool. And then you have your grading. You can have it not graded, credit, no credit, graded with a rubric, and then graded just with out of a certain amount of points. And you can have it included in the final grade or not included in the final grade. Show grade as the grade is available. You can drop that down and you can have it as available in the date a certain date has passed, or you can have it graded and displayed once the due date has passed. Sometimes this can be a little tricky. Some people will have it set as soon as a grade is available and a date has passed. And if it's copied from previous semesters, sometimes that date can be a little wonky and students can't see their grades, but you can see your grade. So just make sure you pay attention to that setting. Step 2 in the basic assignment is usually used for LTIs or books. So unless you're working with those, you don't have to worry about that step. And then step 3 is your instructions and files, and step 4 is your assignment outcomes. So those pieces are on all of the assignments, and that's why we're going over. I know we've talked about this so many other times and so many other lunch bites, but this is the basic format, and so it's going to be on each other of the other assignments. Basic format uses. So what are we going to use the basic format for? Some people use it for just a grade placeholder. So let's say you are a high school instructor that's teaching for us, and you need to just put your grades in from your grade book that you use at your high school. You can just make a placeholder for each of those assignments and put your grade in for each assignment manually. It doesn't have to have any instructions or descriptions or anything. You're just going to put the title of the assignment and then go in for each student and put the grade in. Assignments completed and turned in class. So if you have any kind of worksheets or something that they're doing in class that you don't have them physically turning in online or completing online, this can be a placeholder for that grade. And then you have your tasks that are not graded. So if you want to give them a task of reading pages 1 through 50 in chapter 12 or whatever, you can make that a task in your coursework and it's not graded. And then you also have the participation points. They don't have to physically turn anything in for that, but you want to give participation points. This is the format that you would use. Before I go on, any questions on the basic?
Maggie, I have a question, but Dee, I think, had one in the chat first.
Okay. Let me see. If I want to use graded with a rubric, do I have to enter rubric information right then? Yeah, I think it'll just show up as a blank rubric.
So I can go back and edit later.
I mean, you can do that, and you can even just have it have one criterion first and then go back and edit however you would like. It doesn't have to be right away.
Okay, and if there are like instructors that did courses prior to me that had rubrics set up, can I just edit those rubrics?
Yep, you can. You can edit each piece. You can edit how much each section is worth. You can edit what the criterion states. All the different sections are editable.
Okay. I just haven't tried that yet. Thanks.
Sure. Kyle?
Yeah, I've never noticed or really paid attention to that audience setting. So I was just curious if you had an example of how or when that might be used, and then also how that appears to the whole class. So if I only set it to selected students, does that show that available to everybody, but they can't access it, or how does that work?
So it doesn't show to everyone. It only shows to the people that you select. A lot of people use this for group work. So if you have a group work assignment that might be different for these students compared to these students, you can select just those students for that one assignment and then go create another assignment for the other students in the other groups. I had an instructor just a couple days ago contact me. I think there was a student that needed to take maybe an entry-level quiz or something that the other students didn't have to take or something like that. And so he didn't want the other students to see this quiz or be affected by this quiz being in there, but this one student had to take it. Trying to think of other options. But no, if they are not in the audience list, they won't see the assignment and the points won't be added into their totals.
Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions before I move on? Okay. All right, online test format. So the layout on step 1 is the same as the basic that we just went over. And then step 2 is where it changes. The online assignment options. So you've got a bunch and you can do with it what you want. You don't have to use all of them. The top one is test review, which is another one that can get kind of hairy as soon as the due date passes and is fully graded, is the default, I believe. And let me see. The other options are as soon as they turn it in, and as soon as a specified date passes, as soon as it's fully graded, as soon as the due date passes, no matter what, as soon as the due date passes and it is fully graded, or you have the option to never show it, never allow them to review their test. So they can just find out that they got an A on it, or they can find out they got a C on it and never review what they did right or wrong. That kind of helps with keeping them from sharing their answers. And then and the next option, show students the correct answers to missed questions. You've got some options only after the due date, anytime they can review the test. And then again, you have never. So you could always show them which questions they got wrong or right, but don't show them the correct answers. You also have the option to show students all the questions that they did not receive full credit on. So if you want to let them take it again or something like that, then they only need to see the ones that they need to work on. You have those kinds of options. You also can you can also have the review turned off after a certain date. So if you want them to only have 24 hours to review their test, you can set a date and time for that to be turned off. And you can also just use the checkbox to hide answers during review. Auto grade, automatically assign a grade for a 0 to students that do not take the test before the due date. You have this option on the file upload format as well. This just auto grades for you, so you don't have to worry about going back and putting a 0 in for a student that didn't complete the assignment. You have your time limit option. You have pagination, where you can say 1 section per page. So if you have different sections on your test, then you can display the questions from each section per page. You can have it do 1 question per page, or you can have 5 questions per page. You also have the option to say only forward progress. So they can only go forward. They can't say, oh, that question back 5 questions ago, I need to go check that out. They would not be able to do that. Shuffle sections, creating a random order for each student. So if you say you want to do that, then you're a little bit more secure on whether or not the students can see the same questions at the same time. You also have the option to do that under the test builder. You can randomize the questions and you can randomize the answers. Lock out students if they leave the test screen. Extra credit, I don't really want to touch on this too much because I'm not really sure that it works the way we want it to. I've never personally tried it. If any of you have tried it, chime in and let me know.
I have.
Okay, how did it go?
It went fine. Oh, I just realized my camera cover was on, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I did it during the summer semester for like the midterm and final. Mostly because I was putting on questions that I didn't know that they would really, like I'm giving them practice exam questions for when they're done with our program, just to expose them to it on the test. And so they were just extra credit. Because of that, it was like, this is content for exposure and practice during a test rather than expected knowledge right now. And I only did 3 questions. There was some feature I didn't click where it would show. And I had, on the first time I did it, it worked fine. And the second time, and I'd have to go back and look, but
Okay.
The first time I did whatever and it worked fine, and it gave them however many bonus points, whether they got 1 right or 3 right or whatever it was.
Okay. And it didn't penalize them if they didn't do it or if they got 0 out of the 3.
No, it didn't.
Awesome.
Not that I noticed. No, I don't think so.
Hey, that's the information I needed to know. Thank you. Very good. All right. You've got the security, the password. You can create a password for your quizzes. I do this a lot with midterm and finals for my students. And then, so if it's an online class, they have to contact me, or there's a certain way I give them the password, or there's a certain assignment they have to complete to retrieve the password. Or if I'm in class giving an exam, they have to be in class to get the password. Lockdown browser is an option. Most of the time that works better when you're in one room setting. So like for my class with all my computers and all of my students in one class, it works a little better. We're having some user issues and we can't really help the students whenever we can't be around them to help them figure it out. We can only use phone calls or Zoom, and sometimes they're calling at 2 a.m. and stuff like that. So it does work. It just takes some tests or some practice exams to make sure your students can get all lined up with it properly. Retakes, let students retake the test 0 to unlimited times after their first attempt. You can put a time frame on, if you do allow retakes, you can put a time frame on how long they can wait before taking another one. You also have the option to, down there at the bottom where it says, how do you want the final grade to display? Is it the average of all grades, or is it the highest or last grade received? So there's different options for retake, or you can just do one test and you're done. So they have 0 retakes. Any questions on that before we move on to uses of online? Okay. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot a very important part, the test builder. I'm just going to briefly show you. When you click, when you're done building the online test, then it takes you to the test builder, and this is where you can add your questions and you can add sections. And then once you get into add a question, you have the location to put your question, the point value, what type of question, and then you have your answer field. Okay. So online test format uses. So I'm putting suggestions out here. I would love it if you have some suggestions. Feel free to put them in the chat or unmute. I'm going to go through these, and I know there's so many other options out there, but these are the ones that I came up with off the top of my head. Clearly, online test format can be used for quizzes. You've got the typical multiple choice or true/false online quiz that is automatically graded. You give it to students, they complete it, then they're done, you're done, and that's it. Pretty simple. Can you edit sections of tests like I reorganized some units and need to split up in unit section and previous instructor and don't want to create here? Yes, you can. We can get together on that, Dee. Sorry. Kind of lengthy to discuss that right here though. So exams, fully utilize all question types, timed options, some questions auto-graded, some manually graded. So this is just more of a bigger use of the online test format. Some of it is automatically graded because of the different types that you choose, and then some of it's got your short essays or some short answer questions. And then you have your short essays. Randomize essay prompts or questions for students by choosing the option to have random questions from a section graded. So what I mean by that, sometimes we assignments in class, this is not necessarily a quiz or an exam. This is just here's a prompt that I want you to read about. Or for me, my class, I might have my students write about a certain component of a computer. And so I can set this up to, randomly give them out of this list of 15 things, a topic to write their little short essay about. And then I get the results, I grade it and send it back to them. It's just another way of using a test format for something other than a test. Homework assignments. So, back in the day, you just used to hand out a physical piece of paper that was a multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, matching, etc. Document. We filled it out, students filled it out and handed it back in. I know probably until the last couple of years, I used to do the same thing with my students, and then I had to manually grade them or use some kind of checker. Now we can do those assignments by using the online test format by just creating it like a quiz, but it's a homework assignment. Labeling it as homework assignment instead of an online test will help those students as well. And it's automatically graded. You don't have to manually grade anything as long as you use those multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, and matching. And I think there's ordering, there's a couple other things that are automatically graded. So not only is it saving on paper, but it's also saving you time. Exam reviews. I use this in my own classroom. It's set up like a quiz or homework assignment. So I know that everything is manually graded or automatically graded. I set the retake to unlimited, and I set the review options to that they can see all the answers, all the correct answers and everything. So they can take it over and over and over and practice on those questions and stuff like that. And it's a review without having to send home a piece of paper or send them off somewhere. It's all right there in my Neo show. They can see the questions or the information and they can answer and study from that on their phone or on their computer over and over and over. And so sometimes I have that set to where the students can't even move on to their exam until they've completed their review a certain amount of times. So those are my suggestions for uses for online test format. Does anybody else use this format for something other than quizzes? No?
No, I have used it as an actual online exam.
So you've used it for an exam?
Yeah, midterm exam, something like.
Yeah. Have you used it for anything other than an exam or a quiz?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm going to use it as a midterm review.
I use quiz as an homework assignment, part of the homework assignment. Same thing.
Okay. And Dee, you said you're going to use it for a review?
Yeah, I like to do a practice review before they get to take their midterm.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I do.
Yeah, that I have also done that. Oh, yeah.
Great. Okay. Let's go to file upload format. So again, step one for creating this assignment is the general assignment information. And then step two is where it's different. Up here at the top, you've got minimum number of files required to complete the assignment. So sometimes when you have, I don't know, comp or something like that, where you require, the first draft and then the second draft or something like that, you can always say that there has to be 2 files. Or let's say they have something that they're going to write and then they have a picture that they're supposed to upload with it. You can say that they have to have 2 files in order to complete the assignment, or you can just leave it as 1. Maximum number of files to accept from each student. It's set to unlimited, but obviously you can have 1 to unlimited. I think it says 1 to 5, and then the next option is unlimited. Most important part is the enable preview pane for viewing student uploads inline. So for me, this is most important because when this is created, I thought it was the best thing ever. But unfortunately, the default when you create a new assignment is that it's deselected. So you want to make sure you check that box. So you can view whatever they upload in this preview pane. So if you've copied an assignment from previous semesters that you did have this set to enabled, you'll need to go back in and enable it after your copy. It should stick from now on, but that's where we can do that. That's why we can see this, is because this is checked, enable preview pane. You still have the option to download those documents or that file right above the preview pane. So you can download still if that's what you would like to do. Or you can just preview it here. If it's multiple pages, you'll see all the pages on the left. You can zoom in, you can print, all these different things. The only thing that it doesn't do is allow you to annotate, which I'm hoping will be in one of the next releases. Automatically assign a grade of 0. We talked about that with the online test format. That just means you don't have to go in and give the 0. If they don't upload anything, then by the due date, they get a 0. This has been the best addition, I feel. So let's talk about some uses. So English comp papers / drafts, although we can't annotate, it is nice to see the full document before downloading files. So back in the day, for some reason, I thought it was cool that I should, require 7-page research papers for my technology classes. And then I realized when I have 32 of those turned in, I have 32 files that I've downloaded, and I have 32 7-page research papers that I have to grade. Who does that when you're not an English teacher? But I did, and then I would download all of them into a file folder, and then I would go through a couple of them, and a couple of them would be possibly blank or, oops, the wrong document. I forgot I uploaded the wrong one, whatever it is. It's really, it would have been, and now it is really nice to be able to see the document and make sure it's the correct document before downloading it. If I needed to download it to annotate or whatever. So that has saved a lot of space for me and a lot of headaches by being able to see it before I download it, or just see it and grade it from there. Images, so screenshots or proof of work. So, like my amazing proof of work here that I know how to do math. You could have your students take a picture and upload that. That would just show straight up for you. So you don't have to have them scan it in, download it, or bring it into you physically. It's just a screenshot uploaded. You can view it. Nobody has to download anything, and you can give your grade. 1-page files like certificates or something similar to that, kind of like the proof of work. With NC 105 certificates, if you do require that for your class, if you use the upload feature and then have the enable preview pane, you don't have to do anything with those certificates. You can just view that they've turned it in, that's their name on their certificate, give them their grade, and move on. So this has saved so much time, I feel. Let me see, I have some comments over here. So great question, Dee. You can change that setting at any point. So if you've already graded it, you can still go in, put that check mark in, and it's going to show you the actual document in the preview pane. You can do it after they've uploaded everything. It doesn't really matter. So all the people that have copied from previous semesters that have the upload feature and it doesn't have the box selected, I'm suggesting that you wait until you're ready to grade that assignment and just change it there. Instead of trying to go to each one of your assignments and doing it, it doesn't matter when you do it. So it's not time sensitive, it's just extra time. So I would just wait until you're ready to grade that assignment, and then you can toggle that check mark. Yeah, thanks, Jen Brown. You're correct.
I had a question about the file upload assignments.
Sure.
I've had a couple students tell me that they've got the error message invalid file name when they're trying to upload. What do I tell them to help them fix that?
Well, what are they trying to upload?
They're trying to upload an outline for demonstration speech. So it is a Word document, and they've usually created them on Google Docs. And sometimes it will let the students upload it directly from Google Docs. And sometimes it's a download and then upload to their computer and then upload to my Neosho. But in that process, I have a few that just, it will not take their file names.
It can't be a Google Doc. It has to be a Word document or a PDF, or an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. We're supposed to have some kind of plugin for the Google suite so they can, but it hasn't been talking to each other very well. So until Google and Gensbar gets that worked out, they aren't able to upload Google Docs. It's gonna be a PDF or Word document or anything in the Microsoft suite.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else about uploads or any other uses that anybody can think of? Okay. Lost my screen. There it is. All right, forum format layout. So again, step one, but we have a few extra little pieces. We have an extra due date section on the general assignment information under step one. This is where you can add a different due date for your post due date, and then a different due date for your replies. So the final due date is when the replies are due, and the first post due date is for their initial post to be due. And then also in that section, you have the area to link to a forum. It's always so much easier if you create the forum first on the forum page and then come create your assignment. So if you know you're going to have 5 forums in your class, I would go through and create all 5 forums and then come back over and create your assignments. Just a little easier that way. And you can link to your assignment from your assignment to your forum. So that's all under the step 1, general assignment information. Step 2, online assignment options, which is supposed to say forum assignment options. The name of the assignment is audio or video introduction. That's why you keep seeing the screenshot. And so you have the settings for the forum discussion topic. So don't allow students to post or reply to the topic until the assignment opens. So even though you have the form, they could get to the forum, they shouldn't be able to open it or post or reply until the assignment opens. Don't allow students to post or reply and topic after the due date. So after the due date closes, the student can't access the forum to post or reply, or they should be able to access it, but they can't post or reply. If you leave that deselected, then they can go in and post or reply all they want. You just won't be able to see that in the list of things to review. You'll have to click on their name and then see that the post and replies are too late, and you can approve those posts and replies. Don't allow students to edit or post their replies after they're made. Require students to make a post before they can see other students' work. So this is a post before option where this is really to keep them from seeing what other people post first before they make their own post. Makes it a little more on their end, not being persuaded by their peers on what to post. Then we have the specific requirements for the assignment. So like 1 initial post, and then and you can say how many words it must have. You can leave it blank if you don't care. But if you want it to be 300 words, that's where you would put it, right underneath. And then you can have the option for at least a certain amount of replies. And you can also have that a certain amount of words as well. If they create a post or reply with less than the amount of words that are required, it will do the same thing as if it was late. It won't show the post or the reply in their the section where you grade. You'll have to click on their name, go in and approve their post, even if it's too short. It'll say too short, so too late. Then you have step 3, which is your instructions and files, and step 4, which is your assignment outcomes. Now, there's other settings under the form itself where you can go in and say who can view this. It's also got the post first option there, and it has a few other settings that you can choose from the forums page. Anybody have any questions on this? Okay. Forum format uses. So introduction post is the most common use for forum format. Have students write about themselves or reply to a couple of their peers. At this point, I can't use this feature, but hopefully after December, our audio and video features will be back up and working. We can use them as instructors, but unfortunately the students for some reason cannot. I used it for 1 or 2 semesters that it was available before it got knocked down. It was so awesome for introductions because you can have the students do an audio recording of themselves talking about themselves, or you could have them taking a video of themselves talking about themselves. It just kind of made, if it's an online course, it really made it a real person on the other end. And it's really nice whenever the instructor does a video or an audio as well, because then we all get to see that it's a real person. It's not just text, and kind of makes it a little bit easier to communicate when you kind of see who you're talking to. There's also other features that you can use on the introduction post that isn't just necessarily video recording. We do little video, I can't remember the name of the videos that we use, but where they can make like 30-second picture slides and then just share the link, and it will share pictures of themselves, their dogs, their families, their favorite things. So it doesn't have to just be text on those introduction posts. It can be a variety of things. Group work. Assign forums for specific students to have a place to share group work and communicate. So this will be the same thing as the audience piece on the actual assignment. So you would choose which group or which students of the group need to go in this assignment. You can also do it on the forum page for their forum for that assignment. You can say, there's a section where you can give access to certain students. And so you can do that in both places, on the forum and on the assignment. So on the assignment, only those students see that that's an assignment they need to do. And then they're the only ones that can access that forum. If you only do it on the forum page, if you only change the access on the forum page, it will be confusing from the assignment side because all of the students will see the assignment, but they won't be able to access the forum. Okay. So you'll want to make sure you do it on both. Private journals. Yes, I will share this assignment or this PowerPoint. Private journals, forums for student to instructor purposes. So I know OTA, I believe, used this for a little bit. Is Peggy still in here? No. Where they would have their students share the different things. I don't know OTA terms, but how they did the procedures, I guess.
I can answer that just a little
Awesome,
bit.
thank you. I didn't know what I'm talking about.
Because I'm doing a management and legal issues course, and preparing them for their posts when they're done with their field works. They'll have to take a certification exam, to even, to get credentialed and licensed. And several of the discussion forums are like, go to this website and, find 2 resources that you think would be helpful and then discuss them and why they would be helpful to you. And so they just finished an assignment where they would go on and they said, I like this resource because of that, and I like this resource because of da da da. And then they have to read each other's posts after their initial post and then talk about, whether they, what they thought about those particular resources, or did they find those particular resources when they were digging through that website and looking at the options. So that was just one example of how we use that for them to interact and discuss. I have a question while I'm here, Maggie. Like, I don't know where to create a brand new post from when I'm looking at the forum options, though. There are ones that are in there, but creating a brand new one, like, where do I even start to?
It would be under the forums page, and you would create, off the top of my head without seeing the screen, I can't remember which one it's called, thread maybe. I'll have to look at it, but you would do it from the forums page instead of the assignment.
I'm on the forums page and the options are edit, which only seems to give me the ones that are already there.
If you click on edit, then you should get an option to create. Should be on the right side.
Okay, I'll look. Thanks.
Yeah. And then I know that OTA also did on the private side where it's just from the student to the instructor, they had a recording that they did and they shared it in this private forum so no one else can see it. No, there's no peer review or anything like that. But it was a place where they could constantly upload their different, I don't know if procedures is the right option, or the right word. But let's say they had 5 different things they were supposed to do with a patient. And so let's say they'd use their sister or something like that, and they could upload those videos randomly to the same thread, but it would only go to the instructor. And so I thought that was a cool use for it. So that way it wasn't a new assignment every time. It was just building off of the previous post. I'm sure it can be used in other ways. That was just the only one that I could think of when it has to do with one-on-one with the instructor and the student. And then obviously with private journals also, it can just be like a weekly update from the student to the instructor, which is kind of nice. Paper writing log or peer review, which this is very similar to what Dee was talking about. You can review what your other students are bringing to the table. Students can share their drafts of so if you have peer reviews on any kind of paper that they're writing, this would be a great location for that because they can post their draft, the students can review and give feedback, and you can continue having that log open to where the students can fix and upload a new one, and then new students can review it, and it can just continue as long as you want to have that assignment or that forum open. Super helpful. Anybody else use anything different from this for forums? No? Okay. Okay, well, that went over those 4 topics. Now we're on to important existing assignment. I just have a couple more things to talk about, and then we'll open up for any kind of sharing or questions. Important existing assignment. So if you're wanting to use an assignment from another course, you do not need to recreate that assignment. You can go to that assignment and under the more, you can, and sometimes it's not even under more, sometimes it's up here on this list. This rotates sometimes, but under more, you have saved to your file cabinet. Once you do that, it ends up in your file cabinet, which is down here. The screenshot is down there. Then go to the course that you want to use the assignment in. And when you choose add an assignment, at the bottom of that list, it says import an existing assignment. Then it opens up this file cabinet here. And you can choose whatever assignment or assignments you want to import. And then you'll be taken to the edit assignment page for the new assignment. So If it's an upload assignment that you're putting in there, it's going to take you to the edit assignment page for an upload assignment, and it'll show you all of the options that were already carried over from being uploaded. So the instructions, the name, all of those options will be carried over from being in the file cabinet. And you can edit them, you can change them, whatever it needs to be done, whether you're going from a face-to-face class and you're sharing it into an online class and you edit the information, you can tweak it however you need to and then save it. So for me, and this is, you're seeing a screenshot of my CSIS 100 Unit 3 folder. So I've created a folder. How do we create folders? How do we access our file cabinet? I did not take a screenshot of that, but in your quick links on the top left, you have your file cabinet under My Pages, I believe is what it's called. And you can go in there and you can create folders. You can move whatever you're needing to move. So once you've saved to your file cabinet, it does not go to a certain folder. You'll have to go in there and manage your file cabinet. But if you do that, it's nice for situations like me. I'm not able to copy courses anymore, but I'm still building a course. And so I am building one, and then I put them all in folders, and then I go to the unit of the course that I'm wanting to copy it into and add assignment from that unit. And then I choose all of these assignments and then import the selected. And then it puts all of those assignments, all 5 of those, into that one unit for me. And then I can go in and edit as I need to, due dates, whatever I need to change. So I don't have to do it more than once if I'm taking more than one assignment into a course. So that's really handy, especially if it's in a folder, and then you just have to select all the ones you want. Important is an existing assignment uses. I kind of already talked about that, using the assignment across multiple courses after a course copy. So like, meaning once you've already started your course and you've already got assignments in your coursework, you've already got grades in your coursework, you can't copy into it anymore. So you would need to use the import an existing assignment. Using an old assignment in a new course. So you remember 2 semesters ago, you did this one assignment and you want to use it in this course, but you don't want to rebuild it. You can just copy it in from an old course. And then copying multiple assignments from one course to another, which is what I just discussed. You know, I put a whole bunch of them up into my file cabinet, go in and organize my file cabinet, and then go to all my different courses that I needed to put those assignments in. Shouldn't have to do that too many times, but when you're building a new course and you're teaching 3 sections of it, this is a lot of help. So that is all of my slides. What do you guys have? Do you have any questions or anything? Any input? I'd love to know if you guys use your assignments for something different than what we discussed here, or if you have a cool topic or idea. Would be a great time to share that. Well, if you don't have anything, you don't have any questions, or if you think of a question later, email online@neoshore.edu and I'll be happy to help you. Otherwise, have a great day.